Hi, everyone. Welcome to Healing Connection, where we can be your supporting light for better mental health. This is Angela.
And this is Tony.
Today, we have Emmanuel Nasamo with us for an exclusive interview to share his story and words of wisdom. Welcome, Emmanuel.
Thank you for having me. It's my great privilege to be here.
We are so happy that you could join us today. Before we get started, let's learn a little bit about Emmanuel. Emmanuel is an experienced technology professional who has managed all aspects of the IT function from enterprises, IT operation, to developing architecture, to optimizing data analysis and delivering valuable strategies, change in consumer goods, manufacturing, telecommunication, and training services industries across Europe, Middle East, and Africa in a career spanning 20 years plus. Emmanuel has been married for 17 years, and together with his wife, they have two wonderful children. He also volunteers in his church community, helping to mentor youth and young adults. I've known you for a little while now, and you have shared some of these challenges you have had to overcome in your life. I've always found your story inspiring. Would you like to share with us some of your obstacles you went through and how you overcame them?
Thank you very much. That's a great question. Growing up was pretty challenging. Growing up in a third world country where 40% of the population live below poverty line. And just to put it in context, what that means is that 4 out of every 10 individuals in the country lived below $1 per day. Putting it again into context on a yearly basis, that is living below 365 US dollar per day. So extreme poverty was the order of the day growing up. Also, if you then bring that a bit further, 70% of children in the country where I grew up are in overall child poverty. And what that means is not having access to quality education, quality health, and general well-being. So growing up was challenging, like I said. And I think one of the things that kept me focused on, living my life to the fullest and fulfilling the purpose of being the best that I could be was hanging on to the fact that I could be what I wanted to be if I focus on the things that were necessary. And what were the things for me that were necessary? One was if I had the opportunity to get into school, then I have to be the best that I could be in school. And that really helped me to go through the different stages of school, even up until the tertiary institution level. I think the particular thing here was even after the tertiary institution education that I had, to get a job was pretty difficult. And I needed to get some certifications for which, of course, I didn't have the money to pursue. But I was able to raise some money from friends and well-wishers, which I used to start a business. So I was doing my business in the morning and going to school in the evening. It was pretty challenging, combining work at that age with schooling. And then I was also aiming to get a scholarship to be able to go even further. So through all of that, all of the hurdles that I had to cross, with all of those challenges, I was able to do well in the business that I set up, making profit months and months, and also do well even in school, to the point that after a year, I got the scholarship to then go through the subsequent years without having to pay. It was pretty challenging, but it was possible to do.
Wow, that's amazing. Extreme poverty is something that the people in the first world country, maybe they just heard about it but never really experienced it. So it's great to hear from you, someone who experienced it, and now you have developed yourself so well in the first world country like Canada. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story, Emmanuel. So can you give us maybe one experience in your life when you turned your pain into purpose?
Thank you very much. That's a beautiful question. A particular incident for me was when I had to do the certifications that would really serve as the seal for me to be able to get into the IT industry, and there was no funding. Um, Getting the funds from my friends and well wishers was one thing. Using it for the purpose for which I needed it was another thing. A lot of people in my category at the time would have gotten that money and used it for something else. There were many other needs that the money could have gone for, but staying focused on the purpose for which I needed that money was one reason why I was able to turn the pain of abject poverty into fueling the purpose for which I had and I was seeing in the future. Now that helped me to get all of the certifications that I needed to get, and that then allowed me to get my first job in a multinational company, and also set me up to be able to compete at the international level, where I had a career spanning well beyond 20 years. I think for me, the critical things that worked for me was basically believing in myself and knowing that whatever it is that I set my heart to do, I will be able to do it. I also knew that to be better and for me to do better, I had to go for knowledge. So for me, knowledge above every other thing. So learning was a lifestyle for me, and that was what helped me to really turn the pain into purpose. The other thing for me was around resisting the urge to self sabotage myself. I had that money, I could have used it for something else, but I knew that if I use it for something else, then I would have to live with poverty for the rest of my life. So, the fact that I knew that if I stayed on course, I would matter, my story would matter, and my voice would matter was what really helped me to be able to turn abject poverty into fueling my purpose.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Your story is so much, it's so good. And I know it will affect so many people with and help in dealing with their mental health. What are your top 3 words of wisdom to share with others for better mental health?
Thank you so very much. Good question. I think for me, I would rather put it not words, but let me use statements. So the first thing for me is to say that one would have to realize that the journey ahead will be spiced with ups and downs. The key is not to settle and not to quit. So that for me is the first statement. The second one would be around the fact that, you know, to go up, you must look up, you must stand up, you must speak up, you must show up. Now, I can go on to explain that, but what that really means is in the midst of the pain, never look down, be optimistic about what life has to offer. The last one that I would talk about, I had mentioned it before, is that to be better, we must always go for knowledge and make learning a lifestyle. So those are the 3 things that I would want to leave uh, with you at this point.
Wow, that's wonderful. I love what you said. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Healing Connection is a registered charitable organization across Canada. Our goal is to build a resilient community together. We offer free community-based programs such as Healing Connection workshops. Most of our work is done by volunteers. Most of our funding comes from donations. If you feel benefited from any of our free resources, we would love to have your support by going to our website to donate. Thank you.
All the interview recordings will be posted on our social media and website. You will get notified when we have exclusive interviews with amazing influencers in our community. If you haven't followed us or subscribed yet, go ahead to do so by clicking on our website, which is healingconnectionhc.com. Thank you all for listening. Bye for now.
Bye for
Bye for
now.
now.